I know it's been a hot minute since I've posted any kind of update on my peppers since I've transplanted them into the garden. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that today. When I was hardening the peppers off, it was raining every single day. Every day was overcast at least. They didn't really get a very good hardening off. There was not a lot of sun. They did not like coming outside whatsoever. There was a point there where I thought I was gonna lose 3/4 of my grow. It was pretty bad. It's gotten a lot better now. Everything's starting to kind of make a comeback. So I'll kind of walk you through and show you what everything's looking like now. I'm very optimistic now compared to 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it wasn't looking very good. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started and I'll show you guys how everything's doing. This spot is a little bit more shaded because I have this fence right here and the sun comes up from that direction, so they don't get any early morning sun. This plant didn't do too bad. It did drop quite a few leaves, got pretty discolored for a while, but it's starting to make a pretty nice comeback. Ahi pineapple, this one dropped quite a few leaves, kind of did the same thing as the peach fantasy did, dropped some leaves, turned colors and stuff, but now I've got some peppers starting to grow on this. So that's good. This thing's starting to make a pretty good comeback and I'm happy with it. Trinidad perfume, this one didn't do quite as good as the other two. It dropped most of its leaves. They're starting to come back now. I actually had to clip off some branches because the branches were just kind of turning brown and dying and I didn't want that to spread down any further. So this one's starting to come back now as well. My 2 Cape Caribbean plants. This one doesn't have a whole lot of new growth, but it did retain some leaves up there. That one's kind of staying stagnant right now. This other Cape Caribbean, this one dropped every single leaf that it had and I thought it was a goner. But as you can see, new growth coming in on that one. It's doing all right. The 2 Ring of Fire plants, they didn't fare too bad. Getting some peppers off of these, starting to grow now on both of them. So this one, they didn't do too bad. The leaves wilted, they got some sun scald, but overall they did okay. Chocolate habanero, that one didn't do too bad. It's doing all right. Still a pretty small plant, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. Sugar Rush peach, that one didn't do too bad as well. Did all right, some sun scalding and stuff like that, but otherwise did okay. Sugar Rush peach did about the same. It's growing nicely. It definitely got stunted there for a minute and slowed down its growing, but it's starting to come back now. Ahi crystal, this one dropped most of its leaves. Still kind of a wiry plant, but we actually had a pretty crazy windstorm last night and this thing was like bending over sideways, but it didn't break, so that's good. But as you can see, starting to get some new growth coming in down there. I think that plant's gonna do just fine. Yellow Scotch bonnet dropped almost all of its leaves. Everything kind of turned, like this leaf here, just kind of fell off. Everything turned yellow, dropped. Orange Scotch bonnet. This one, it was about dead, but it's coming back now. I should probably clip this off. I think that's about it though. That one's not doing too bad. Red Scotch bonnet dropped a bunch of leaves, but got a couple peppers on it now. It's growing just fine, making a good comeback. Brown Scotch bonnet dropped pretty much everything, but even though this was grown in a solo cup and I didn't top it, so it's just kind of tall and lanky, but got some stuff starting to grow down the stem. My tiger jalapenos, this one dropped pretty much every leaf that it had, and this one I thought was dead, but it's coming back now. Tons of new growth coming in there on the bottom. This one's getting tons of new growth on the bottom as well. And those leaves are just awesome. Check that out. Mammoth jalapeno, I thought this was completely dead. It dropped every single leaf and was just looking horrible. but finally started to get some new growth just a few days ago, and I'm optimistic that it's gonna make a full comeback. Chocolate bubblegum 7, that one, it did okay compared to a lot of the other ones. No fruits or anything on it yet. MRM 7 Pop Brown Peachy, this one did okay as well. Not too bad. A lot of new growth coming in down there on the bottom. I think this plant is going to do just fine. Here is one of the ones that is not going to make it. It already died. That's about all that's left of it. It was taller, and it started turning brown on the tips. You know, I was trying to keep up with it and cut off the dead stuff, and it just kind of moved all the way down. And it was a small plant to begin with. I had 2 of the Bohemian goats in 1 cup, and this was the smaller of the 2, and it didn't quite make it. So I'm going to replace this one with something that I have inside. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but it's going to be replaced. The other Bohemian goat dropped a bunch of leaves, but got some new growth. It's doing okay. 7 Pot Douglas, that one I thought was dead, but it's making a comeback. I had to cut the top off because it was starting to turn brown and die, and it was moving its way down, so I cut that off, and it's starting to grow back just a little bit. My other 7 Pot Douglas, it's got some growth coming in down there. A little bit that was saved from all of the rain stayed up here. 7 Pot Slimer, tons of new growth down there. This plant didn't do very well throughout the whole thing, but it's doing okay now. This is my other 7 Pot Slimer. I thought this one was dead as well, but just now starting to give me some growth there. That's my other Mammoth Jalapeno. That one's doing okay. These ones are the wife's. They were labeled as sriracha peppers. These were probably, so these are the only plants that aren't ones that I wanted in here. They're the ones that the wife wanted in here, and they're the only ones that did pretty well throughout the whole thing. This one here got some damage to the leaves and turned color for a little while, but it dropped the bad leaves, probably like this one here. Oh, it didn't come off, but it dropped a lot of the bad stuff, continued to grow, and now those 4 plants are just, they're growing, they're doing good. Bonda Mahala, this is I got the seeds from this from a friend of mine and started growing it pretty early. It's a good sized plant, and this one did just fine. It didn't do too bad. It was already a pretty big plant when I took it out here, so it fared pretty well. It's my death spiral. Dropped most of its leaves, but as you can see, it just started exploding back, so that one's going to be just fine. Bleeding Borg 9 kind of did the same as the death spiral. It wasn't happy for a while, but tons of new growth. I think that one's going to be just fine. This is my Black Panther. Dropped a ton of leaves, didn't look very good for a while there, but it's doing just fine now. Got some new growth, those nice dark leaves right there. Got some peppers, got one there coming off. I think there's a couple more around there somewhere, but we'll move on. Sepia Serpent, another one that I thought was going to be dead, but got some new growth. I think that one's going to be fine. Skunk Chocolate didn't do very well, but I didn't really think that was going to die either. So that one, new growth there on the bottom. I think it's going to be okay. Skunk Red, new growth there. It's going to be okay. Another Skunk Red, looks about the same. Here's another one. So I have 2 plants out of the 60 that I have out here, and this is the second one that didn't make it. So this is my chocolate Moruga brain, and it didn't look very good at all when I put it in here. It didn't like the hardening off process and all the rain, and I think it was just a pretty weak plant to begin with. Didn't make it. I'm gonna replace it with something. Don't know what it is yet. It'll be something from inside. I'll be taking that stuff out today. My orange scorpion looked like that plant did when I first put him out here. This had, I think the only leaves that were on this are these ones that were looking pretty bad now, but that was the only leaf that was on this whole plant when I took it out here. So that's making a full recovery, and I'm pretty optimistic that that's going to be a good plant this year. Here's a mustard Moruga brain. This one dropped everything, but it's growing back now. Here's another mustard moruga brain, and this one dropped everything, started turning brown like the other one did that died, and I was able to cut off the dead stuff and it started to make a comeback. So that one's doing okay. Here's my lemon starburst. This one didn't do too bad. Every once in a while, with all that rain and stuff, all the leaves would droop, and this one I was able to move around a little bit, so I was able to get it out of all of that. But it's doing good. That one's gonna do well in there. Purple Ghost Scorpion. This is one that I'm super excited about, and got a pepper there. Got a pepper there. Dropped a lot of leaves, but it's growing them all back. Apocalypse Scorpion, another one that I had to cut off the whole top because everything was completely dead. Cut that top off and it's starting to grow back. The leaves don't look very good, but there's life there, so I'm staying optimistic. Trinidad Moruga Scorpion, didn't do very well. It's growing back now. Butch Tea Scorpion, it's doing okay. Dropped a bunch of leaves, but getting tons of new growth. My ghostly jalapenos, they looked pretty bad for a while. Dropped pretty much everything, but as you can see, they're growing back. Butcholokia, it's looking pretty bare, but this one's making a comeback as well. This is my other Butcholokia. This one is pretty big. Got some sun scald, but it didn't really drop too many leaves. It dropped some, especially down here towards the bottom, but it's starting to grow them back, so we're okay there. Chocolate Umarok, that one, this was already a pretty tall lanky plant to begin with, but starting to get some growth down there. It retained some of its leaves. It's going to do just fine. My Umarok Red I thought was going to be dead, so this is another one that I had to go through and trim up all the dead stuff, and when I did that, there wasn't a single leaf on this plant. Completely bare, and that was probably about a week and a half ago. It's doing okay now. CPR, Chocolate Primo Reaper, kept a lot of its leaves, dropped a lot as well, but didn't do too bad throughout the whole thing. 7-Pot Primo, dropped a lot of leaves, making a comeback. My other 7-Pot Primo, this one I topped when it was younger, and that one I did not, but they're both doing okay. Here's my Carolina Reaper. It's got a lot of new growth down in here. It didn't do too bad throughout that whole thing. BOC Reaper. This one looked horrible. Another one that I didn't think was gonna make it. I cut off all the dead stuff and starting to make a comeback now. This branch here isn't looking very great, but I'm happy with where the plant is at now compared to what it was. The last thing I'll show you, it's not a pepper, but here's my orange tree. This is doing just fine. Got an orange there, got another one there, got another one over here. This one, this is probably my wife's favorite thing out here. She doesn't really care too much for all of my peppers, but orange tree is doing good. One thing that I want to touch on with this whole situation that I had to deal with is if you're getting tons and tons of rain, your plants will almost act as if they're not getting enough water. They're going to start drooping and just looking horrible. And it's really hard to not water them, especially when you get like one sunny day and you'll come outside and the whole top layer of your soil is just nice and dry, but everything underneath that is still going to be soaked. And so I would come out here all the time and it would look like it needed to be watered. My plants would still be drooping and I would really want to water them because, you know, that's just kind of what we do. But that is not the way to go. I had to kind of hold back on that and let them completely dry out to where I could dig down into that soil pretty deep and it would still be dry. Once those storms passed through and they were done, we started getting some sun. After everything dried out is when I started getting that growth. So now I'm just back onto a regular watering schedule and it's starting to make a comeback. It definitely set me back a little while. Definitely worried me for a little while because I thought I was gonna lose most of it. It was bad. Luckily I didn't. Everything's good now. Just have those 2 plants that I'm gonna replace with something else. I don't know yet. I'll see what I have inside. Anyways, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. hopefully my my next update is gonna be a few more peppers and a lot more growth I'm hoping for. If you like this video, watch some of the other ones. They'll be popping up somewhere over here. Go ahead and click on those, consider subscribing, and I'll get another one out soon.